What's up? We're back with another tournament game, and this time it's the UU World Cup with me playing for Team India versus LpZ of Team Brazil. And we are playing in the black and white underused tier, which you may know is actually MrBeast's tier. He used to play this tier a long time ago, so I thought that was an interesting fact. But getting back into the game, I am using a semi-rain team. That means I have Rain Dance Tornadus, but I also have Life Orb Kabutops. But that's where the rain ends. The rest of my team is a standard team. So I have Stealth Rock Cobalion, Choice Scarf Crocodile, Zapdos, and then an offensive Suicune. And meanwhile, my opponent has a full rain team. So it's very likely that Azelf and Tornadus are going to be the rain setters, and the remaining 4 Pokemon are just going to abuse the rain with something like, for example, Raikou with Thunder, or the other 3 with Swift Swim Hydro Pump or Swift Swim Surf. So it's going to be a really interesting matchup. So getting into the lead right now, I lead Crocodile and he leads Azelf. Now usually Azelf is Focus Sash, like on these hyper offensive teams they want to get Stealth Rock and they want to explode, so they're usually Focus Sash. But because it's a rain team, it is probably Damp Rock, not Focus Sash. So I use this as an opportunity with my unexpected Choice Scarf Crocodile, and I get the kill immediately. So that was a really good turn 1 for me. And he goes to Tornadus now, and I crunch, he rain dances, and I crunch again, but I don't get the kill. And now he has to make an interesting decision. Tornadus is the only thing on his team that could set rain, at least that's what I think. Because if you look at his team structure, he has 2 dedicated rain setters. So if you're going to have 2 dedicated rain setters, you probably are not going to waste another move on Rain Dance. You expect to get the job done with these 2. So he has a choice right now. If he sacrifices Tornadus, he can immediately go into a Rain Sweeper, but that means that he doesn't have his rain setter anymore, so he has to work with these 8 or 7 turns he has left. On the other hand, if he switches into something, he is going to be taking damage from a +1 crunch. So it's a very difficult decision for him. Does he preserve Tornadus to set rain on a later date? Or does he let something take damage? What does he do right now? So he makes the decision to preserve Tornadus so he can set rain at a later date. And I use Crunch on Crocodile. And now it's a very tough situation, because I barely have a switch in to Kingdra, Ludicolo, Omastar, so it's almost like a math problem. Right now, Ludicolo can beat everything on my team, but it's slower than Kabutops. Kingdra can beat everything on my team except Suicune, but it's faster than Kabutops. Omastar is the strongest Pokemon on his team, but it is slower than Crocodile, and it might struggle with Suicune, and it's slower than Kabutops. Meanwhile, my Zapdos can live any 1 hit, but only 1 hit. It doesn't have the bulk to live more than 1 hit. It's going to be taking 90 to 95 from a hit. And meanwhile, Tornadus and Cobalion are probably useless during the game. So it's almost like a math problem where you have to try and figure out how to use your resources right now. So I go to Suicune here, and he uses Hydro Pump. And this much damage, 48, reveals that he is a Choice Specs Kingdra, which is doing huge damage. So I'm in really big trouble. If Kingdra can keep coming in later in the game, it's faster than my entire team, and it's stronger than my entire team. And I don't have Rest on Suicune. I am offensive Suicune. So that's something else to consider. I don't have Rest on Suicune. So what I do here is I actually use Ice Beam on Kingdra, and he switches out into Ludicolo. And that's going to be a good play from him, because now Ludicolo comes into the game, and now it can threaten my team, because I don't have a switch into Ludicolo. My only rain check is weak to grass types. So I'm immediately put into a very bad position right now, but I get the freeze. I get the freeze with Ice Beam, and now the biggest threat to my team is completely countered. And that's like completely shutting down his best source of offense right now. So that really sucked for him. And now I go to Tornadus right now, and he stays frozen. And now he's in a bit of trouble right now. He goes to Raikou, and I just Hurricane. And he takes 41, and now there's an interesting decision. If he uses an electric move on Tornadus, I will simply die. But if he predicts me and use Aura Sphere on the Crocodile switch-in, my Crocodile will die too. So it's a bit of a tough situation, and on top of that, he got confused as well. So I decide to make the aggressive play and stay in predicting Aura Sphere. So I stay in here predicting Aura Sphere, and he uses Hidden Power Ice, which doesn't kill me, and meanwhile I KO back with Superpower. And his rain is running out too. So now he has a tough decision right now. He goes to Kingdra, and at this point I sacrifice Tornadus. It is not going to be doing much this game. But now the rain runs out, and I go back to my Moxie Crocodile. I get the kill with Crunch, and again, he's in a very tough position because of the frozen Ludicolo. He goes to Omastar. Omastar uses Shell Smash, but Crocodile is so fast, it is actually faster than Omastar right now. So I use Crunch, Omastar dies, and now basically his only hope is hoping that Ludicolo can unfreeze right now. He uses Rain Dance, I get the kill there, and he has to unfreeze right now. This is his last chance, he has to unfreeze right now. And does he do it? He does not. Crunch kills the game, and India wins the game right here. And it's a really tough situation because we have to go all the way back to the turn where Ludicolo got frozen, because that changed the game completely. So if we go back to this turn right here, Ludicolo gets frozen. Imagine if it doesn't get frozen right now. It takes 74 damage, and probably what I would have had to do was sacrifice maybe Cobalion or Tornadus. Probably sacrifice Cobalion. And assuming I sacrifice Cobalion, then I should go Kabutops, and Kabutops can actually outspeed Ludicolo, because they both have Swift Swim, but Kabutops is faster, 284 versus 262. So Kabutops would have outsped Ludicolo here. Then he would have probably had to sacrifice a Pokemon to Kabutops, maybe he sacrifices, for example, Omastar. So imagine he sacrifices Omastar then. Then he can go to Kingdra, and Kingdra outspeeds my Kabutops, so I would have to switch out. Maybe I would sacrifice my own Cobalion, or I would sacrifice Tornadus. Then I would go to Suicune again, and then it becomes really interesting, like what do I do from there, right? So this Ludicolo freeze changed the game completely, and it turned like an even exciting matchup into an unplayable matchup for my opponent, which was really unfortunate. So that's basically how the game went, and this is part of the UU World Cup. And what that is, it's a tournament where all the different countries play in the World Cup, and there's all the tiers from going all the way from Generation 8 UU all the way down to Generation 3 UU. So there's different tiers all the way ranging from the top to the bottom. And this is the group stages right now. So we're all put into a different group. So I believe my group was India, Brazil, USA, and I believe an Asian team. I don't remember which, but that's basically the group I'm in right now. And you can see the standings right now. So after I won my game, India moves on to 7-5. So right now we're tied for second place in terms of number of wins, and there are 24 games in total. And the top 6 teams make it to the playoffs right now. So the top 2 teams will get a first round bye, and teams 2 through 6 will play a playoff semifinal. So this is where we are right now, 7-5. You can see US Northeast is at 11-2. We have Canada at the bottom right now, a few teams in the middle right now. So really interesting stuff right now, and yeah, so it's going to be really exciting to see how the final 12 games of the season go. And it's looking like we're going to have to be above 12-12 to make playoffs right now. So that's basically how the playoff picture looks right now. And we have games from a lot of different tiers remaining. So you can see all the different tiers right now, SSSU, SMUU, and yeah, let me know what you think of this type of content, and as always, make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And yeah, I thought this was a pretty fun game to go over. Thank you.